What's good? And we're live.
Yo, what up?
What's
up,
good?
y'all?
Hey.
Chilling, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
My connection is a little shoddy right now, so you gotta pardon me. I don't know why, just out of nowhere started acting up, so...
Yeah.
What's going on, man? How's Tucson?
Dude, it's amazing, bro. I love it. It's like super pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see much of it out there.
Go on,
But
go,
super
go.
nice view.
Right? Sunshine, man.
Yep.
Loving it, man.
Yeah, definitely, dude. It's good to see you out there, too. You're looking good, dude.
Yeah, man, I got sunburned like a mofo yesterday out here.
Yeah?
So...
How are you feeling, though?
I'm feeling fine, man. We'll
Good.
get into it, as we talk about everything. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it raises a lot of questions,
Right.
There's a lot of questions, so.
Yeah.
First up, we got to say what up to all the people up here. Wave at y'all.
You. I'm probably going to do mine sideways because it's just a little easier, so. But whatever.
Dang.
Doesn't really matter.
Is that it? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, dude, let's get right into it. That was an awesome idea to do this, and I think I really like the name Alleged Podcast. So, episode 1, season 1.
Episode 1, season 1. Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. My producer's going to hook us up with a lot of, some professional podcast stuff from here on out. But I feel like a lot of these issues are just, too important that we can't wait right now. We really have to just attack it right away.
Absolutely.
So if y'all don't know, that's Wise One. I'm Lav Gray. I guess, shit, man. Just give me a little background on yourself, man. How do you get woke or red pilled, as they say?
I think probably just dealing with just like the justice system in general, probably.
Right.
Just dealing with racist police and kind of like judges and stuff, and just seeing how they work from the inside made me want to question everything more. And then the more that I did, the more I found out, they're actually not the good guys that they claim to be, and I don't know, I felt like I always kind of knew that they were kind of corrupt, but it's like the more that you question things, the more you find out, and you really have to do your own research to be able to do that,
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely, I've spent my time in the system, In my free time, I try and I mentor felons that just get out of prison, just because, they're set up to fail,
Yeah.
They're set up to fail. So that's dope, man. I first met you through music, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
doing stuff over at the Dickens, so it's cool that we came this far. When I would see you, post stuff on Facebook, you know what I mean? Which is really, these aren't conspiracy theories. It was more, the history of America and how, fucked up America really is, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And what we did to the genocide of Indians, you know what I mean? To slavery, to what's now, every single, citizen in America.
Right.
I think for myself, my brother died. I was the oldest of four, maybe about 14 years ago.
Shit, bro.
And my family was pretty Christian. They were we were just Christian, we were religious. But right when that happened, I just questioned everything, And I was just what fucking God, Bible, this all bullshit, this, And I just started researching shit on the internet, countless, I wouldn't change it for anything, you know what I mean? It's brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
But it also, it made me, go down that rabbit hole. Once you're in, you know what I mean? There's no getting out of it. And it's so easy to connect all the dots with everything,
Yeah.
I guess for all the people watching or will be watching, I want y'all to think what's the first thing that comes to your head when you hear conspiracy theory?
Oh man, I feel like that's just the excuse to not look into anything. It's just their biggest cover up. If you label anything a conspiracy theory, then people won't want to give it the time of day. They won't want to hear it out, and you could just kind of label anybody fake news or a conspiracy theorist now. But like we were saying, that's kind of all by design. We were kind of meant to question everything, and nobody knows who to believe or what to do, and it's just like every other tragedy, except this one's kind of like a real pandemic, a real outbreak, whereas the other ones are kind of just false flags. And I feel like they were just kind of preparing us for a real one. It's like the country who cried wolf, you know? It's like they cried wolf so many times, and now that there's a real danger, people don't really believe it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's definitely a very dismissive, like, connotation, if you will. I mean, the conspiracy theory that came around when JFK got assassinated.
Yeah, that's where it started. I feel like there was like just a million conspiracy theories and whatever, you know, different scenarios, and no one knew what to believe. And then, you know, eventually the next movie came out, or the next horrible thing happened, and that was it. Just sweep the dirt under the rug, you know. So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. For this show, I want to kind of stay away from conspiracy theories, if you will.
Yeah. And
definitely just like show y'all just like what we're gonna say are facts. You know what I mean? Or we believe them to be facts from the sources that we found. And anything that is like an opinion, I'll give you a disclaimer when I say it. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So
open to it.
My man, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this? Why is it important to you to have our voices heard right now?
Definitely just because, you know, we have always kind of questioned things, and so we've seen it start out for a long time, and, you know, I feel like it's up to us now, you know, it's up to the people. Like, the government isn't really helping us, and we need to get these messages out as soon as we can while we still can. And, you know, it's like people have just been misled for so long, and, you know, like the time for asking for healthcare and begging for scraps and $1,000 checks is fucking over, dude. Like, we need to go.
It's over.
Yeah. You know, like, it's the 99% has to look out for each other right now. Like, we need to have our own doctors. We need to make our own society, basically, right now, and help each other out instead of fighting over toilet paper and begging the elites for scraps. You know, it's just not going to work. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a straight up rat race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I'm with you on that. You know, I definitely think coming together is a huge thing. And you can kind of see it, you know, in a like global crisis like this right now, what's like kind of happening. You know, after all of this, you know what I mean? I'm hoping after the dust settles, like you're gonna see people be nicer to each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hope so.
We're not gonna take all this shit for granted.
Right.
Like we did before, or they did before, you know.
Right.
I'm definitely a part of this because I've, you know, the 13, 14 years I've been researching everything, watching what's going on right now is going to shape the world for generations to come. Yeah. And we have to do something about it, like right now. And the topics that we're going to discuss, hopefully that y'all at home will see that too, about their vital importance that these are tackled. You know what I mean? People, you can just sit there on a message board and just be one of those trollers and just da-da-da-da-da, you know, but when it comes down to it, you have to do something. And absolutely. I definitely plan to take more action after this podcast for sure.
Absolutely. You know, and I always have said, you know, if you know the truth, then you have a moral obligation to speak the truth. And, you know, like we were saying yesterday, a lot of people are just, you know, kind of scared of the way people judge them or think about them if you express your true opinions or, you know, express the facts. But, you know, that time is over. You know, the sugarcoating, we've been sugarcoated to death. And, you know, that's a done deal. Like, we can't be sugarcoating anymore. And anything less than being brutally honest is sugarcoating, you know. So we got to, you know, speak the truth.
Yeah, it's that cognitive dissonance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you hear things like, I didn't want to believe it either. You know what I mean? When I hear, you know, everything.
Yeah.
It just pushes you away. You're like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. You know? Like, I had a really good history teacher in high school, man. And, you know, I mean, this was like 1999. And he was like, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, which seems like so far, like everyone knows that now. But I was just like, what? Like, I was lied to, you know what I mean? And, you know, you just start thinking for yourself, you know?
Right. Yeah. You got to think for yourself, man, you know?
Yeah,
And
so hell yeah, man.
introducing Jess to the podcast too. She's been doing podcasts with me for a while now. You know.
Hell yeah.
Hello to
Gotta
the
have you
bees.
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm, dude, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Life is good.
you look like you should
That's
be on
awesome.
a beach right now.
I know, right? For real.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that first sunburn of the year, you know, so it feels good. I feel alive, you know?
Yeah.
Chilling.
It feels good to be outside, you know. I think, like, sometimes I was just kind of being too paranoid and, like, I don't know, I didn't even want to go outside for a bit, but in hot weather, I think it's fine, and as long as you're keeping your distance or whatever, but I don't know.
Right.
But that's the thing,
Yes.
you know, it's like we were saying, like, this paranoia is ever ending, and it's like they want us to be, like, in this constant fear-based reality now, you know. You know,
Right.
they've always manipulated this society through fear, whether it was through false
Absolutely.
flags. Yeah, you know, so, I mean, this is just like their souped-up version of it, you know, and this is...
I mean, yeah, you look at, like, the Cold War,
Yeah,
terrorism,
yeah.
you know,
the
like
war on
everything,
drugs.
like this COVID disease.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you know, they lead with fear for sure.
Yeah,
And getting into that, I guess I could share my story. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely.
about-
Let's,
About getting it. I know a lot of people were very concerned for my well-being, you know, and I just want to let you know everything's fine. I'm fine.
yeah,
I'm
you look
healthy.
good.
I'm definitely like the healthiest I've been in a long time. So what happened? So in between when the COVID hit, and I left my job in Denver, we all got temporarily laid off. You know, I was going to move to Denver, and I decided just to hold off on that because I currently don't have a job. So I went, and I'm staying with my aunt and my uncle right now, who are lovely people that I grew up with.
Awesome.
And then my aunt's sister, my other aunt too, she is a nurse down in Aurora.
Right.
And she got positively diagnosed.
With COVID-19,
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Like, she got the whole test.
How long?
She said they...
How long was she working until she got it? Did she, like, I don't know, were they taking, like, a lot of precautions, or did she just
Oh,
kind of,
no.
like, randomly get it? Or, like, how many patients do you think she saw before she got it?
Man, I couldn't put an estimation on the number of patients, but she was complaining about the lack of PPE in the hospital the entire time.
What's PPE again, for the record? Is this just a precautionary...
Yeah, personal protective equipment.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know, it's pretty scary how even the medical staff and nurses are getting sick, and, you know, they're definitely just as underprepared. I mean, and they're charging so much money, you know, it's like,
Okay.
I think this should be a medical staff strike, if anything, you know, I mean, we all should go on strike and just not pay any bills unless our diseases go away. But, I mean,
Right.
the medical staff, I mean, I don't understand why they would put themselves in the risk and not even get you know, the vaccines for themselves, even if they do get it.
Remember.
Or, yeah.
Yeah,
mean-
they're straight up, they're soldiers out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
They're putting their lives on the line and
Yeah.
trying to save lives at the same time, and they don't even have all the tools
Necessary.
that they should have.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's been about a week and a half now for her.
And you said that
I
she
just
was...
saw her.
And you said she was...
What's that?
And you said she was doing a lot better now, and that, you know, it's just kind of like a cycle,
Yeah.
and now she's kind of lost all those symptoms, and...
She still got the cough. So talking to her, like, she compared it to bronchitis, right? She never got a fever, too, as well, she said.
Interesting.
Just nasty cough, nasty cough.
Was it like a dry cough or like a sneezing?
Was it a what?
Is it like more of like a dry cough or a sneezing?
Dry cough at the end, yeah, for sure. And sounded like a lot of, like, mucus and stuff, you know what I mean, in there.
Yeah.
And then it moved on to a dry cough, you know.
Gotcha.
And she's still got that, but she feels a lot better, you know. So when I heard that, you know what I mean, I instantly was like, all right, well, we our rooms are right next to each other. We share a restroom.
Yeah.
And I figure I better go get checked out. especially because I let one of my really good friends know about it, because he's really worried about this all. And he had given me a ride the week before, and he's got a young daughter, and I just wanted to let him know about that. You know what I mean? It was tough. It's almost like you compare it to like, oh man, like I got like chlamydia or something. I got to call my ex-girlfriends or who I was hanging out with last and let them know. It's tough, but it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So he definitely, he was like, bro, you got to go in right now. So I went straight to the Longmont Hospital. I went in there. I've had kind of some chest pains, and I'm not sure if that would be because of the COVID or because that I quit vaping. I quit vaping nicotine. I used to smoke cigarettes and then moved on to vaping, but I've quit for about like 2 weeks now.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, how like your lungs like clear themselves. I'm not sure what it was, but either way, I think living in close proximity with somebody definitely warrants a test.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you thought about going maybe to like the Boulder community? And I think it'd be, because I don't know. It's just, none of them have the answers. It feels like hospitals are almost more unsafe because there's so many more people there, and there's not even enough medical protection there. So it's kind of like it's a real predicament to not go to a hospital right now. It's like, what are they gonna do? They're just gonna tell you that they can't give you a test like they told you, right? And
right.
Even the nurse.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, first of all, I walked in, and the hospital really wasn't busy, which is good, And I walk in, and we were keeping our distance from the desk, and she, I tell her what I just told y'all, you know what I mean? Like I live with someone who's been tested positive, and she just straight yells at me. She was like, "You need to be wearing a mask." And I was like, "What? You want me to just fashion one up right now?" Like I wasn't even gonna have it. I was like, "What do you mean, the friggin' mask?" And we'll get into that shit later too.
Yeah.
So I tell them what's going on. They're like, "You have any symptoms?" And I was like, "No, I feel fine. I kind of have some chest stuff, that it might be." So they take me in. They give me a EKG, to make sure like my chest is okay and everything. 2 doctors come in, 3 nurses. I all talk to them about everything that's going on, how I'm feeling. I tell them I'm healthy. And they told me, they're like, well, we're only going to test people who have to stay overnight. At this point, we all think that you have it. The good thing about that is that you're young, you're healthy, and you should just fight it off right away. But we do recommend that you spend the next 2 weeks quarantining, you know what I mean, and not being around anybody. So that I was kind of like,
just wash your hands,
Yeah, wash your hands. Yeah, definitely. Like, damn. I've worked in restaurants my whole life. I wash my hands more than anybody. I feel.
I love it. All these like people on CNN and like all these like medical experts. Okay, kids, and just make sure you wash your hands. And like, it's like, oh, is that the best medical advice
save the
you've
world.
got? Yeah. All these people on CNN just like, and make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you don't touch your face. It's like, what kind of...
It's like we have a mother.
Yeah.
We need a doctor.
Right. Like, seriously. We all have mothers.
Groundbreaking shit right here.
Yeah.
And I saw like even the CDC released something, or I saw it in the past week, about making your own masks. And in the reality of it, like a cloth mask is going to be counterproductive for a virus. And people don't know that because you have that just the heat from your mouth, and the cloth is just going to keep all the bugs right there in that cloth. It would be good if you do have the virus, but if you're not trying to get the virus, like it's counterproductive, and people don't know that. I mean, there's studies, and universities and colleges have brought this up. Like 5 years ago, I read I just read a study from 5 years ago that was great about it. You know what I mean? And it's just like even the CDC, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. I think it really depends on the mask you're using too, because some of them kind of suck. Like the cloth ones are terrible. Oh yeah, I saw that post that you posted too, because I actually have some of the surgical masks and I have an N95, and I've got those blue surgical ones, and I saw that these blue surgical ones were like the best ones, the best rated ones on your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue surgical.
That's what they gave me.
Yeah, so.
You guys shouldn't be flashing those around. They'll get you.
I know, you're talking like M95s and stuff, like they're guns.
They come get you.
They're going to censor you some more. Oh, yeah, so what's going on with the censoring for you? Because I know that's been a weird little thing too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, just to go back to, like, when we met or we, like, really clicked on more than just, like, a music level was when I saw all of your Facebook stuff get censored.
Yeah.
So they started censoring stuff in my Instagram stories. And then, so I made a petition. I made a petition about a week and a half ago to ban 5G in Colorado. And change.org, that was removed from the website 2 days ago.
Wow.
I went through their terms and conditions, all the do's and don'ts, and did not see a single thing that I violated. I was also working directly via text with a woman named Christina who works for Change to try and get my petition more exposure.
Good for you.
Yeah, so when the site comes out and straight up deletes my petition, I was like, wow, like they're on to me, you know?
Yeah.
Or it's just 5G. They don't want this to be stopped. They just want to implement this and go on just like killing us, you know?
Right.
Last night, I kind of had like anxiety last night. I didn't sleep too well, so I just, worked on some social media. I made a Facebook for the first time, for the fifth time, but the first time new. And I hadn't been on Facebook for a while.
It's probably good.
I had one friend, 0 posts, and they deleted my Facebook.
Wow.
Right. And I'm doing it to help promote the podcast, under my alias and this and that. And I didn't even post anything, and they took it down. I saw last night.
Wow.
So
did they say a reason? Just like, oh, it's against Facebook community standards, like usual, or?
They said it was under review. That my account was under review for something,
For speaking the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
It's just linked because, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is all together.
Well, look at even Julian Assange. I mean, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, even if you are eloquent and informative and factual, they're still in exile. I mean, Julian Assange is rotting in prison just like he has been for a long time, and Snowden is still exiled in Moscow. I mean, he's been living in Moscow for years too. So, it's when people are all like, oh, well, don't just, talk about it, do something about it. It's like, well, what is there really, to do? Because if there's no legal way to do it, and you can't publicly publish it like any other regular journalism, then
or else it'll be deleted.
I know.
It's straight socialism and just it's crazy on how much everything we're saying is being edited right now.
Yeah. That's why the podcast too. I think that's that's what we should have mentioned too, is that you can't really censor the podcast as much, and so I think that's why these podcasts are really important. And a lot of people have been turning more to podcasts than the mainstream branch of the government. All that news. People are starting to realize that they've been full of shit for years, and they've just been hyping it up. So that's the thing too. It's people have been, it's people are so used to the media taking everything out of context and making it seem so much more dramatic than it is. So that's part of why they don't know who to believe or what to believe right now also. But, because it could hit you, the cycles of a couple weeks, and then you're basically back to normal. And some people just, just have bad immune systems, just different blood types. I heard that O type is the best, most resistant to it, and A type blood is the worst for it, I guess. But
word. Man,
So
I'm AB negative, man. I'm so rare.
nice, bro.
Like gold, except for that alien blood type or whatever we're doing. But censorship is a huge thing right now.
Absolutely.
For everybody watching and y'all too, if you haven't done this, YouTube search Mark Zuckerberg in Congress censorship, and you will be thoroughly entertained. I mean, I've been watching it. You know, there's probably 12 hours of this stuff, and all it is it's just like senators who have 5 minutes each to grill Zuckerberg, ask him questions about why he's editing, you know what I mean, and censoring stuff that people are saying. And you see it in his face, just how, like, he's just caught in a lie. And how many times these senators are just like, answer the question. No, answer the question.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
Ugh. And he's all sipping his water like just a total bitch.
Right.
Dude. And, you know,
I wrote down some stuff right here that, go ahead, you first.
All right, well, I was just going to say, like, you know, those congressmen, they grill him, too. But, I mean, none of them have punished him. He's still been held unaccountable. They, like, just grill him in Congress just to, like, make the public feel a little bit better about him, like, you know, intervening on all of our lives and putting us all under surveillance. But it's like,
I mean, it did make me feel a little better.
I mean, yeah, but the fact that he didn't get
anything.
punished for it, yeah, like Facebook didn't see any downfall. He just got grilled on camera. But, like, that's it. It's just like he didn't get punished for it, and that's why he's still doing this, and that's why they're going to start censoring more, because, you know, none of these people have been held accountable for any of the surveillance that they've put on our lives, you know? And everyone's all like, oh, and I hate it when people are like, oh, well, I have nothing to hide, right? I know you've heard that one. It's just like all the parrots, right? The parrots are always like, oh, well, I've got nothing to hide. Oh, like you don't have any, like, private parts? You don't have any private conversations with people? You don't have any private moments with your, like, wife or family or girlfriend? Like, please, like, we all have things that we fucking hide, and they shouldn't be allowed to just be professional perverts, you know? I mean, that's what the NSA does. Like, they're just, like, professional perverts, and they haven't really caught or prevented any terrorism like they said that it supposedly would, you know?
Yeah, like the Patriot Act and all that stuff in 9/11, like, everything I mean, your privacy is long gone, and it has been, you know?
Absolutely.
And
it's
now,
just going to get worse.
Not only is, like, our privacy gone, but now our freedom of speech is going with that, too.
Right.
And that, you know, that really pisses me off, because I keep open ears, open heart. I mean, I'm a huge believer in, like, man, you can believe whatever you want. You can believe the world is flat. You can believe that, you know, fucking JFK shot himself. I don't care. You know, that's the beauty of it. But you can't, like, censor people's beliefs, you know?
Yeah.
And now we've been living in a world where, like, if you think something that's outside of that norm, like, you're being critiqued, criticized by, like, you know, those around you, you know, and I'm seeing it with myself and my friends too as well. I said about that Zuckerberg in Congress, I wrote down some quotes from it that were pretty entertaining. So Zuckerberg, they're just talking about what they were censoring. Zuckerberg response, he's like, we also hear consistently from our community that people want us to stop the spread of misinformation. Isn't that funny how you think so? We hear from our community that people want us to stop the spread of misinformation. So what we do is we try to focus on misinformation that has the potential to lead to physical harm or imminent harm. And then this senator just interrupts him. And he's like, let's stick to the subject. Are you 100% confident that vaccines pose no injury to any person on this planet? And then Mark Zuckerberg goes back, Congressman, I don't think it would be possible for anyone to be 100% confident. And then the congressman says, and this is Bill Posey from Florida. He says, but you said your platform, you believe in giving people a voice. Shouldn't somebody have the opportunity to express an opinion that's different than yours? Don't you think people should be able to have information to make an informed choice?
Right.
I mean, and the congressman goes on and he says, like, many of the people harmed by this policy are in fact parents of disabled children, and I don't think we or you should be so quick to turn our backs on them. if you look at the statistics, I think you're making a bad mistake. You know what I mean? And he's just one of many who is just like Real Zuckerberg. You know what I mean? And it's I mean they act like there's now stuff that's spread of misinformation about it and stuff, but they've been doing it for a while. You know, they're pulling stuff on YouTube left and right. They've been censoring you on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know?
For years.
Yeah, and it's, I mean...
You know, it's funny, like, for me, like, I used to get censored a lot, or just blocked my account for a while. And it was pretty regular for, like, a couple of years there, and it would be, like, 1 month, like, every couple of, like, months, basically, that I would be gone. But, like, for some reason, like, this last, like, 6 months to a year, like, they've barely blocked me. And usually, because it would build up, it used to be, like, it went from, like, a couple of hours to a couple of days, and then it was, like, a couple of weeks, and then it was, like, a month where you're blocked. And now, I've been blocked a couple of times, but it's only been, like, for, like, 3 days here and there. And it's really weird. I got censored just for talking about China and just, like, saying how they've been, you know, doing more for their people, and they've been desanitizing and spraying down their streets in hazmat suits, and just have had stricter lockdowns. And now guess what? They have 0 new cases because they took the necessary precautions. And you know, so I just mentioned that they were doing so much for their people. Thanks, babe. I just mentioned that they were doing so much for their people, and they blocked me for that. It's like, really? I can't say anything positive about China?
Yeah.
Like, is that
it's
fake news?
completely biased censorship. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
That if it goes, you know, because obviously, well, I believe, you know, they're getting paid by somebody to do this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're obviously, you know, so if it's not with their agenda of who's paying them, you know what I mean? They want it off. They want it off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just like it's for Facebook, it's like deemed inappropriate content. And like that vagueness just allows like Facebook and Google like so much flexibility just to interpret their own rules and just like delete everything.
But yeah, you know, like white supremacists are never censored or anything like that. You know, they've always been like free to do what and say as they please, and that always meets community standards by Facebook as well as mass surveillance. So,
I mean, like, yeah, I know that that video on CBS when they're videotaping hospitals in Italy and portraying them as ones in New York City. I'm sure that didn't get censored. You know?
Yeah.
You know, that's wild. And then I saw just yesterday, I sent you that right before we got on the podcast.
Right.
But a good friend of mine, she sent me a link to the video.
Fox News thing, yeah.
Yeah, the task force briefing.
Uh-huh.
And I definitely encourage everyone to look that up. That was the most recent COVID task force briefing yesterday. It was on Fox News. It was on all the news channels, but I saw the link on Fox News. And Dr. Deborah Birx, Brix, she came in and just straight up admitted and threw it out in the open that all of the numbers for COVID have been tampered with. That if you die from, you know, you're dying in the hospital. If you get COVID, you're just deemed as statistic.
Yeah, and if you get like a heart attack too, right?
Oh, anything. You get murdered and you have COVID.
And a lot of them are just, like, the numbers are so, I mean, you know, they're so faulty because they could just be, whoa, I just totally got cut off right there. Shit. That sucks.
What happened?
I totally got cut off for some reason.
Did your phone die?
No, it's still going. That is super weird. Okay, I'm going to have to...
I saw this. It's like, it really sucks that coronavirus hit during allergy season. I'm over here like, I can't tell if I have 5 days to live or if I need to take a fucking Claritin.
Claritin. Claritin Clear should help, man. And of course, right on schedule, get kicked off.
That's weird, huh?
Yeah. was thinking we could always maybe move it outside too. Dude, what is going on? Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be good. You want to hit this stuff? Some gelato. Wow. Of course, now they're like not letting us do this.
I'm gonna pick up some herb for my homie soon.
Yeah. Right as we were talking about Facebook. Guess who owns Instagram? Facebook.